Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But we'll go out and play some Frisbee. King, you want to go play some Frisbee? Let's go do it. Let's go. Oh, wait. Let's do this officially. Let's do it officially. Boom. So King and I are going to go do some flat work. Let's go, handsome. Come on, Superman. King. Right, this here versus this. And you can see him shift. Come on, right? You can see him shift each time. And that shift is, it might be the thing that is necessary for you to get your dog to flip. Yes, good man. Aus. Aus, yes. Treat bag. Gotta go get my treat bag. Epi, chill. Oh, you got host. You got host. There are only 2. Make it out. Hey. Did you lose your co-host spot? Shit's loud. Yeah. Whoa. Look at it. Get it, CupCake. Oh my gosh. She's so amazing. Frisbee is about the stuff between the tricks, right? You have 36 tricks in a freestyle routine, maybe, if you're lucky. It's a lot of tricks, right? So 36, 32, 36, right? That's pretty packed freestyle routine. Each trick takes anywhere from half a second to 1.5 seconds, right? The actual trick, yeah? So what are you doing for the other minute 30, minute 45, right? All the stuff happens between the tricks. Go, go, go. Through and flip. Good. Ouse. Go, go, go. Ouse. Yes, ouse. Up, up, up. What you doing, Epi? Ouse. Yes. Pretty crazy back there, ain't it? Through. Yes, ouse. Yes. Badass. Go, go, go. Through and flip. Good. Ouse. Go, go, go. Ouse. Yes, ouse. Up, up, up. Ouse. Through. Yes, ouse. Yes. Badass. Total badass, Uppy. What's up, guys? Welcome to the dojo. What do you say, Uppy? What do you say? Turn the sound effects down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I know. I was doing farm stuff. Didn't notice the time. I got on. I hit Alicia up. What's up, Sage Paw? Happy. You are a very good man. You are a very good man. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about flow. It's Philosophy Friday. We are going to hit a little bit on, whoa, easy, Cheetah, flow theory and some of the other stuff we've been talking about. Been jumping back into the flow theory and epi. Dude, not okay. Don't do that. Nice. Nice, John. Right. So, let me get my shit together here. Happy Friday, Michelle. Hope you're digging the site and everything. Welcome aboard. Appreciate you hooking up with me there. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. first quote. So I'm going to walk through a, I have, what is this book called? I have Csikszentmihalyi's, Csikszentmihalyi, his, this is the collected works, and it's pretty awesome. I got this sweet document. Here, I'll turn that off. And I'm going through it, and it starts, the idea of flow is predicated upon attention. And that attention needs to be self-induced, like freely offered. And the idea of attention, sweet. The idea of attention is really pretty important. Like, we have limited bandwidth, right? I talk about bandwidth quite a bit in terms of the dog training. The forms are there to set up all of the muscle memory and the basic mechanical functions of frisbees so that they don't require any bandwidth to perform. And that frees us up to use that bandwidth for other things that may or may not lead to flow. You certainly have a better chance of hitting a flow state with attention to spare than you do if you're drowning under details. I guess I should define flow. I don't have a definition super handy. It's the zone, right? Like being in the zone, feeling of Zen. You're completely engulfed in the activity you're doing. It's done for the simple sake of doing it, or while you're doing it, you just find yourself lost in it. And the flow state, according to Csikszentmihalyi, is like 500% to 1,000% more productive than a normal state of consciousness. And he dedicated his life to studying that. So looking through his stuff, the process philosophy of play that I'm putting together, the Play Plus, is partly based on flow theory. We're going to use flow theory to manage attention and to throttle up or down the dog's performance, and to try and hit that sweet spot where challenge and skill level match and we lose ourselves in the activity. I think dogs do that pretty well, actually. We, on the other hand, have some issues with it. So let me go ahead and get, I don't know what I want to share here. So I went through chapter 1 of the complete works of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I think that's dude. The spelling of the name is ridiculous. I think I have it right though. If I don't sue me. So get rid of that. Get rid of that. Maybe. Yeah. I'll turn that one back on because I have some notes here. So let me see. Is this the beginning? No, it's too big and I can't see. Grr. I have to open that back up. I'm sorry. Grr. I have panels on top of, there we go, on top of the screen here that you can't see. So, all right, attention flow and positive psychology. So Positive psychology, I'm not a fan of positive psychology, actually. I find it to be, I don't know, it's a bit assertive. It's kind of like phenomenology when it comes to philosophy. People take a lot of liberties. And the big focus on self-esteem, I think, is a huge mistake. Our self-esteem is dictated by everyone around us. We literally can't control it. The feedback mechanism and all of that for self-esteem happens outside of us. It is a reflection of how people see us. The ego is a defense mechanism for that, right? And I think the better frame for what we would want to have be the focus is self-respect. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's a self-respect mantra, a child's self-respect mantra. And self-esteem says, you know, you can't call me names because it hurts. And there's this Buddhist detachment thing, or attachment and detachment of when we go after something directly, something ephemeral like self-esteem. If you go after it, or happiness, if you go after it, or flow, if you go after that directly, you're not going to get there. You're just not going to get there. That has to come as a byproduct or on the side of what you're going for. So, not a fan of positive psychology for the most part. And yet I find the flow state and flow theory quite compelling, right? So anyway, first quote here. We're talking about attention. Yet in psychology, attention plays a role in many ways analogous to the role that energy plays in physical mechanics. As William James pointed out 100 years ago, any work that a person does requires the allocation of attention. And like physical energy, psychic energy is also finite. In other words, despite the claims of multitaskers, we cannot divide our attention and still do well the things we need to do. So I'm a huge multitasker. I have something on in the background all the time. Like viscerally, I kind of disagree with this statement because, you know, I do multitask, and of course, I'm a fucking badass when I do it. But the idea of attention and attending to things, like I have multiple things going on, but I'm only attending to one, right? And I imagine that the idea that attention is finite, that's fact. That's a fact. He has a data rate of, is it 60 bytes? Where's the 120 bits per second is what estimates were at the time of this writing. I'm not sure if this was written in the 70s or the 80s or 90s. But 120 bits per second, that's what we're dealing with. And even if it's 10 times that, right? A kilobit per second, that's not a lot of data, right? That's not a lot of data. So we can't divide our attention and be present, right? I don't think the dogs can either. I'm going to go through a few of these things and then I'll pick up on the dog angle. Let's see. Psychic energy is finite, right? Like I said, 120 bits per second. There's this idea of chunking that that is processed like as a gestalt, an amalgamation of feelings or the situation, or I don't know, I'd probably have to look that up to get a good definition on it. Super cool word though. So we can chunk things up into larger groups and treat them as a single entity. I think that's happening quite a bit. That requires experience and habituation to the situation. I don't think that's going to be true in novel situations or in highly dynamic, in highly dynamic situations it's true. We throw a bunch of shit together and deal with big chunks. And the performance, probably not going to be as precise as it should. For example, if novices at chess are shown a board with pieces on it from an actual game, then after a few seconds are asked to reproduce the positions of the pieces on another board, very few can remember where the pieces had been. Expert players, however, have no trouble placing each piece on the right square. Not because their attention span is greater, but because with experience they have learned to recognize likely positions involving many pieces as one unit, as a single bit of information. I think that's super important to what we're talking about. I think the eternal objects from the trigger process, from the concrescent play idea, from the play plus process thing that I have going on, I think a bunch of the prehensions and the eternal objects are chunked like that. I think we have a big, I think we deal with this bandwidth problem in creative ways. I think chunking is probably a big part of it. This idea that instead of attending to each discrete piece of our interaction with our dogs, we attend to, like, I don't know, situational, not expressions, but situational groupings. Terrible word. We make the situation the chunk, and then we deal with the discrepancies. To get a little out of line, a little weird, when you're streaming, right? So I have limited bandwidth here. And if the cameras move a bunch, like I could be walking around with my GoPro on my head here, you know, it would work. But when the whole camera moves, all 5.1 million pixels or whatever the hell it is in an HD frame, all of them have to be reinterpolated at once. When the camera is stationary, the only thing that changes are the pixels that change when I move, right? It was pretty exciting, wasn't it, Epi? I know. And I think we do something like that. I think we attend to the differences in those situations, and we chunk things up. And it's one of the ways that we deal with that over threshold of attention, right? Let me see here. 120 bits per second. When a person talks to you, you need to process about 60 bits of information per second to understand. So I think this is super, super important here. None of these tasks, decoding sounds, understanding meanings, remembering and feeling, evaluating emotions, would happen if we did not devote some attention to them. But psychic energy is necessary not just to accomplish tasks, such as understanding a conversation, driving a car, balancing a checkbook, sitting on command. In a more fundamental sense, attention is required to have an experience. Any information that registers in consciousness and there triggers an experience, any sight, sound, idea, or emotion, only exists because some of our psychic energy causes them to exist. Can't have an experience without attention, right? And I think that is fucking huge for dog training. When we think about getting ready to work, you know, King, King. If I have to call him all the time, is that self-induced, right? And what is King attending to here? Is he attending to me, the situation, the cookie, the opportunity? I don't know, right? This idea of attention is really big in the philosophy or the ideology of Pawsitive Vybe. Offered attention is, I believe, the key to a good working partner. If I got to call you all the time to get your attention, I'd rather work with somebody else. You know, I want to work with this guy back here who's on it the whole time. And, you know, I can stop talking and kind of look around here at any time, at any given time, and the dogs attend to me rather quickly. That idea of attention for flow, for cooperative work, for interaction, just absolutely huge. And so we do a lot of shaping of attention, shaping and capturing of attention. The dismissal situation. So I tell the dogs, go do dog stuff, and now I'm off limits. And Epi will give soft attention in the hopes that something happens. But I'm off limits now. And he will do things to get my attention. That positive work on the dog's part in order to get our attention means that they're always going to be receptive to the interaction. And they're going to see that. They're going to see that as a cookie. They're going to see the interaction with me as a cookie. And they're dedicating their time to me, their attention to me, not the cookie bag. Right, Epi? Yes, not the cookie bag. It's not the cookie bag, it's me. So, on what basis do we decide what to pay attention to? Who has the cookie bag? Duh. And how do we order experiences out of what has been attended to? With Csikszentmihalyi, he talks about psychic entropy, right? Psychic entropy is, well, it's the breakdown or the oh, fuck, come on, Ron. It's the breakdown or the, not the collapse, it's the breakdown of the organizational pattern of attention or the organizational pattern of your psychic thoughts. Pathology, schizophrenia, things like that, ADHD, there are pathologies around it. But he terms that psychic entropy. I really like that. I really like that term. I think the dogs have it a lot when we've been working too long and working too hard. I think the dogs have this psychic entropy thing. We have a psychic entropy thing. We're concentrating too hard. We're focused on other things, right? This is a condition in which attention is incapable of ordering incoming information, making it difficult for the person to act effectively and with integrity of purpose. And I think that is a huge, huge thing in dog training, man. I think it's a huge thing. And I think it's mainly caused by us working over here in the actual world on the Cynefin map, working in the actual world and thinking and expecting the results from our, is that the one I want? Nope. And expecting the results that exist over there on the complex or the complicated side of the map. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying here. It gets pretty confusing with all the shit laying over my computer here. I have like a ton of, there we go. A ton of windows that are on top of everything you're seeing, like the entire outside. where the pages are here, and where this this week at YouTube is down here, they're totally covered with frames from the live stream thing. So anyway, I think this problem with psychic entropy happens because our behaviors and processes live over here in the complicated domain, and it is a domain of ideas for us, right? It's what the behavior looks like and feels like when we do it perfectly in our mind, right? And so we have this idea that this behavior is this. Pedestal behavior, right? Is I say stall, you look at me, I send you to the pedestal, you jump up on the pedestal, you sit your ass down, you give me eye contact, right? You stay up there until I ask you off. And that's what we see over here. Well, when we get in the actual world and we do it here in the dojo, the dog takes the wrong pedestal. The dog jumps on the pedestal, jumps off, grabs the bone on the ground. The dog won't take the pedestal because the evil Prince Epi is going to do some damage if somebody gets on his pedestal. So we think this is how it's going to go down, and then we do it in the real world, and it falls apart. Psychic entropy leads to chaos and confusion, right? So I believe the biggest cause of psychic entropy with dog trainers is this conflation of what our behaviors and process should look like, what they should feel like in my little brain, and my dog as well, right? If this doesn't map to that, and we're on the map over here, this is going to suffer, right? The dogs are the eternal objects that we're creating within the trigger process. If we go through process and satisfy the process, we have eternal objects left over, things that are known and understood about the behavior. Those things go over here, right? They're kind of stored over here. And then we set up, if I think it's going to be a vault or this thing, so I'm banking on this stuff over here, we get in the real world, and I think I'm the dog, I think it's supposed to be this vault. And my little abstract reality is broken by the actual world over here. The dog, I think, is going to experience that psychic entropy. The dog is going to experience a break with attention and is not going to be able to process the information coming in and apply it towards the task at hand. So again, I think this conflation here between the very real world of your mind, right? It's very real. Those ideas are known, they're possible, all of that stuff, but they're not actualized. They're potential. The potential of the reality in your brain meeting the actual over here. And I think conflicts between the two are what are going to give us a lot of trouble within dog training. So, I'm just scrolling through here. I went through the first chapter this morning. He talks about his methods that he employs, his choices to go to a small school, his development at the small school. He goes to the University of Chicago. He's successful there, and then he was offered a place at Stanford. He decided not to go there, and he went out to some small college in California. So he gets into the reason that he started studying flow. First of all, play was related. He was teaching he was asked to teach a seminar, and he decided to do the topic of play. It was requested by a bunch of people, right? And in that, he found what he wanted to do. So while most of the things we do in our life are dictated by biological or social necessity, play is chosen because it allows us to do well on the things that express who we are, what we can do. And I find that like super awesome, right? We enjoy doing things that we do well, right? Or that we can do, even if we don't do them that well. I play guitar. I know quite a bit about music. Believe me, I know that I don't play the guitar well. That said, I really enjoy doing it, right? And it's a way for me to express who I am and what I can do. The reason that we invest psychic energy in play, so the consensus thought is because playing allows us to practice skills that later in life will be useful, right? And this is a real problem, I think. I think everybody, to some degree, is doing their dog training so they can get better and do something better in the future. It'll be good for us and this and that. That constant pushing off into the future, and I'm only doing this now at this shitty level because later it'll be better, is a really bad way to approach growth. It's just a really bad way to approach growth and learning. Everything you're doing is valuable, and we should be doing things in our dog training, in our play with dogs, that that we don't know is valuable, right? We don't know what's valuable yet. Michelle, you're real new to Frisbee. You know, you see the things on YouTube and whatnot, and you see certain things, and they're valuable to you. They attract your attention. Ooh, that and that, I want to do that, I want to do that, right? Those are the products of a billion little things. And that spotlight attention on those things that you identified before you knew anything, right? If you just chase those things, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what is required. There's all these things. And so when people start dog training, I don't even want to, start playing with their dogs, they think they're going to do it right. Do what? What are you going to do right? Do you even know what you're doing? You know what I mean? Do you even know what you're doing? Do you even know what you can do? Do you know what it feels like to do it right? And so immediately we get stuck in this thing that I'm doing this for the future so I can be better in the future. I have to do it well right now. And we get chasing the success and and doing it right before we know what we're doing. When we engage in play, let's put it this way, basketball players, any sport, you, all of your learning and your basic understanding of the game, your evaluation of potential, right, doesn't happen when you're being coached at practice, right? It happens when you're playing in your backyard, or when you're playing the pickup games or intramural games or things like that. That's where the game and play is established. After the game and play is established, then you go to the coach, and the coach hones that established game, right? You need that open-ended play beforehand in order to get a handle on what's happening within the game. So Antonis was a basketball player. Georgios was a basketball player. They're both in Greece. Georgios was a well-schooled and coached basketball player. I think Antonis was not under that kind of Euro school leadership and instruction. But Georgios was taught how to play. He taught me how to do a jump shot, and it was the most fucking awkward thing ever, man. Because apparently my jump shot is mechanically like shit, right? Antonis was asking how to get more loose and how to get more free with his movement with the dog, right? And would be like, I'm defending, I have to defend the sideline, right? You're gonna go down here and I can't let you go there, right? And the question that Antonis asked me would be like me asking the coach, hey coach, how do I block off the sideline? You know what I mean? And the answer is to step this way and block off the sideline, right? The answer is to turn here and hold him here and push him that way. And when he goes, block off the sideline, right? Well, you can't know that until you've done it in play, right? And once you've done it in play, you kind of know how to do it. At which point in time, we can work on you doing it better. But you have to have that initial experience, right? You have to have that initial experience before you try to hone the skill. If the skill isn't there, it can't be honed, right? And the application, the application that works is the shuffle movement, right? Boom, 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 boom. And so when you go to work, and I know that was exciting, huh, Epi? When you go to work and exercise that skill, you don't practice the sideline. You know, and that shuffle movement, that sliding shuffle movement is, that isn't like a drill. It's an experience you're doing. You know, suicide, running lines in a gym, that's not a drill. It's not for the future. That's right now. You know, it's not a drill, it's an activity. And through it, you don't just get enhanced cardio. You get the actual experience of slamming on those brakes from a full sprint, of putting yourself in an awkward position, overcommitted and returning. I run this way, I slam my feet down, I with my skidding tennis shoes, right? I put my hand on the floor and I take off in a sprint the other way, right? That is an experiential activity. It's not a drill. It's not just calisthenics, right? That's the thing that you're going to rely on when you fall down during play and have to recover. That's the skill you're going to rely on when somebody burns you with a crossover move and you move this way and get stuck. From that position, you're going to respond clearly and cleanly. From the suicide the suicide calisthenics exercise. With that shuffle and blocking off the sideline, once I have blocked off the sideline and I've worked my shuffle, Now my coach can come in and say, hey, Ron, you need to do this when you do this. Here's the trick, right? And so what I think happens, the reason that we invest psychic energy in play, the consensus ran, is because playing allows us to practice skills that later in life will be useful. Like that is such a, we don't have the skills until we play, right? And we're not practicing skills that we already have. We're discovering the skills and discovering the way of them. And I think that's really important. I'm going to try and figure out how to say that a little better, but I think it's super important. Everyone thinks they're going to go out there and do this thing right the first time that they've never done before. Like they asked me for a list. Give me a list of how to do this. And that list is invalid because you don't know how to do it, right? Doesn't matter how complete and holistic my list is, you're still going to be doing something you've never done before. And the way to go after that is to jump in and be fearless about it. And it's super easy because you've never done it before, right? The probe, sense, respond here on the Cynefin framework, right? In the actual world, we have to probe, then sense, then respond. We don't know what we're doing. You know what I mean? We don't know. The very first thing, I'm gonna do something that I don't know the results of. Right? And even if I know it 100%, it's not 100% gonna happen. A squirrel could run by. A butterfly could flutter by Epi's little brain right when I gave that cue. And our whole start of our routine would be shit, right? We gotta try something first. This probe, sense, respond inverts the sense, analyze, respond, the sense, categorize, respond of the clear and the complicated domains, of these domains where everything is a rigid rule set in the potential reality of my mind, right? In the potential reality of my mind, when I want to deal with a clear fact, right, or a clear concept, well, I'm just gonna see what concept or fact is in play. I will categorize that into this type of thing, that type of thing, or the other thing, and then I will kick out my response to you. This could also be the realm of coaching, right? When I watch you guys play, I watch, I categorize what happens, and then I respond with how you should respond, right? And it's very simple down here in the clear. All I have to do is categorize it. Oh, yep, it's that error, no problem. Do this and that'll be fixed. And then you do that and something else breaks, right? We repeat that over and over. Up here in the complicated, I sense, then I analyze, then I respond, right? And the reason that I have to analyze is because there's more moving parts. I might not know right away. I might have to tease it apart a little bit and get you a good answer, but I have to tease it apart. The thing is, it's already happened here. It's already happened here. In my brain, it is 100% going to happen. Yep, that's how it's going to go, right? I checked. But as soon as we get over here into the complex domain, we have to probe first. We don't know how it's going to go. When we play in the actual world, we have to be squarely in the actual world. And that's not easy to do. Saw two problems. I should probably pick this up a little bit. Sports was supposed to help us develop discipline, and good health. Board games prepare us to become good architects, accountants, or strategists. Social games like charades prepare children to be good communicators, and so on. Is that why we're playing? To be better in the future? Right? Charades is fucking fun. I get to express myself. Board games, Risk. I like to crush my friends. I like to crush their feelings of supremacy in that game, right? Like there's a lot of angst within Risk with me and my friends, right, when we used to play. It was not about what I was doing in the future. It was very much so about the now, and the novel consequent opportunity of it, right? The karma of the game. You carry your karma through the game, right? Probably shouldn't have started out down there, or don't ever start out in Europe. You should not have done that. Yeah, we play to have fun. Yep. And I'll let Mihaly speak to that. I saw two problems with this line of argument. In the first place, it was all about children's play. Didn't apply to adult play at all, which in fact was rarely mentioned. But even more startling to me was the lack of attention to the experience of play. The descriptions of play simply ignored why anyone would play. After all, it seemed preposterous that children should play because they wanted to develop discipline, right? Dog trainers should think about that. You know what I mean? Does your dog want to play to have a routine? Does your dog want to play to win the championship? Right? There's a difference in subjective aim right there between the dog and handler. And it's a difference in subjective aim, I think, that manifests itself poorly when we're playing. So in reading the literature, I realized that all studies of play were explaining it in terms of distal causes like the future and whatnot, and none of the proximal causes. This is Mihaly's description of it. The reason why children play. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to paraphrase this and keep you guys in the flow of the conversation, not confuse people. The reason why children engage in play seems so obvious to him. Play was fun, it was enjoyable. It was what the Greeks call an autotelic activity, namely one whose goal was simply to be experienced because the experience is worth it, right? And fuck yeah, dude, that is that. Yeah. So, play. A prominent common theme was that the activity presented opportunities for action or challenges that were just about manageable given the player's level of skills. This early finding became one of the flow conditions that have been found again and again by our team and researchers around the world to be one of the main conditions that make an activity autotelic. Notice that it says just about manageable. Just about manageable. That doesn't mean I get a cookie every rep, right? It does not mean I get a cookie every rep. It doesn't mean I surely can do it. Antonis, if you're here, I'm gonna work on that as soon as I'm able to do it. Right? You have to do the things before you're capable of them. That's how you become capable of them. And so much of this is going to sound like fucking Forrest Gumpisms, right? And it's because they are Forrest Gumpisms. they are us missing the boat on what play is because of whatever things we're giving our attention to, right? Let's skip this. He's talking about the movement of positive psychology and how he progressed and whatnot. So attention. Attention is a form of psychic energy needed to control the stream of consciousness. Attention is a limited psychic resource, right? We can only attend to so many things. In Frisbee, I have to load the Frisbees, I have to prepare, I have to read the dog, I have to dog train, I have to read the wind, I have to read the field, can't throw into the tents, right? I have to remember my routine. I have to cue properly. I have to communicate with my dog. That's going to be more than 120 bits per minute, guys, or per second, like by a lot. Almost all of that has to become chunked somehow, or it has to be put on a muscle memory type algorithm where I make the throw and load right away. You know what I mean? I make the throw and I step right away. It isn't even a conscious process anymore. That's why the DiscDog class and the Fly Chi classes are so form focused. Those forms, if we're able to execute them to any degree of competence, get them done, there are a bunch of, complex skills that get exercised, chunked up, and turned into an algorithm so that everything is working without me attending to it. So attention is a limited psychic resource for you, for your dog. Your dog has to attend to your movement, has to attend to the Frisbee, has to attend to the dog training stuff, has to attend to the smells in the grass. All of those actual entities that we talk about prehension at the beginning of the trigger process. Every one of those things is potentially sapping attention from your dog, your handler, and your team. Tensions between various demands and limited attention available is seen as a fundamental issue from which many of the most important problems in behavioral sciences arise. If this is true, then attention has the potential of becoming a central concept in the social sciences. Well, I'll tell you, attention certainly is a central concept in behavioral modification. Skinner box and the whole idea of setting up strong controls and a strong ironclad methodology is all about keeping attention where it needs to be. I would suggest that the main difference between the lab and the real world, right, is that idea of uncontrollable attention, divided attention. In the Whiteheadian sense, more actual entities collapsing our reality that have to be prehended and dealt with, that can distract us. Big deal there. Tensions between various demands and the limited attention available. Attention is the process that regulates the states of consciousness by admitting or denying admission to various contents into consciousness. Ideas, feelings, wishes, or sensations can appear in the consciousness and therefore become real to person only when attention is turned to them. Many claims have been made for the primacy of attention as a crucial psychological process. William James has this to say, blah, blah, blah. Super cool quote, by the way. I might throw it out there. Most of our attention is denying things in, right? The hum of my computer fan here, right? I just heard it because I started to look for things that I'm not attending to. The idea of attention, allowing things in or keeping things out, really important. We have to teach our dogs that. How do we teach our dogs that? Through attention exercises, obviously, but not just that. More importantly, they have to experience things within those other environments, right? Or we have to get them into such a hypnotized fervor with toys or cookies or whatever that they can't see anything other than the toy or the cookie. And then we have a whole other raft of problems that are going to develop with hyper focus on one aspect of the endeavor. The subjective nature, the subjective tone, the subjective aim, the prehensions of the trigger process. I'll pull that up. I'll pull up the new one too. That'll be cool. The prehensions of that. Is that the right one? No. It's a good image though. The prehensions of the actual environment by, gosh darn it, I have to open up Photoshop. Sorry, guys. The prehensions of the actual environment when the cue is given and the dog takes in everything and I take in everything, right? That moment is subjective, right? It is, there we go. Yes, it is subjective. And that subjectivity is for the dog, is for the handler, right? It is unique to each of us, right? And through that, our dogs and ourselves have to focus on the pertinent facts and get rid of the facts that are not pertinent, right? And that is not easy to do, right? That is attention. And the more we have to do with trying to hold our attention, or the more we have to battle with getting rid of pieces of our attention, right? The more we have to negatively prehend things in our environment, don't look at that, the harder it becomes to hold focus, right? Now all of a sudden we have psychic entropy kicking in. And this psychic entropy is interesting. The psychic entropy is a draw on our attention. So when I give the cue, the dog prehends the actual world and then assembles the emotions and feelings of that world, of earlier reps, of unsatisfied successes and failures. That delivers the subjective tone. The tone for the dog, the classical condition of the dog. When I give that cue, the actual world collapses on me. My perished objects from the past, my emotional feelings of my taking in of the actual world from previous experience, obviously, my emotions and feelings about earlier reps, unsatisfied successes and failures of that cue. And in this situation, or around these prehensions, sets my subjective tone, right? So my subjective tone, dog's subjective tone are going to be different. And they're going to require us to push out things that are not germane to that task, right? this gets to the point of the dog being involved on the decision-making process in that state of aporia, constructing an abstract reality, engaging the mental pole, putting their operant skills to the test before the trigger is actualized. If the dog is laser beam focused on the cookie, right? All the shit in the environment is gone, but the only thing we're focused on is the cookie. What am I going to remember from that? As the dog, what would I remember? What would be the experiences that I'm going to put in my little brain, right? That I can recall when it comes time to do it again. What are they? You know, and they're going to be like focused on the cookie. They're going to be focused on the direct thing that the cookie leads, or that leads to the cookie, to the exclusion of pretty much everything else, right? So I'm going to read this William James quote. But the moment one thinks of the matter, one sees how false a notion of experience that is, which would make it, hang on, but the moment one, go back into the 1800s and fucking shit gets really hard to read. But the moment one thinks of the matter, one sees how false a notion of experience that is, which would make it tantamount to the mere presence, to the sense of an outward order. Millions of items in the outward order are present to my senses, which never properly enter into my experience. Why? Because they have no interest for me. My experience is what I agree to attend to. Only those items which I notice shape my mind. Without selective interest, experience is utter chaos, or experience is the fucking cookie. You want to know why you got to go get a better cookie? Because that's the only thing that's there. Nothing else is relevant. This idea of attention, super important. The same point was made by Collingwood. With the entry of consciousness into experience, a new principle has established itself. Attention is focused upon one thing to the exclusion of the rest. The mere fact that something is present to sense does not give it a claim to attention. Consciousness is absolutely autonomous. Its decision alone determines whether a given sensum or emotion shall be attended to or not. A conscious being is not thereby free to decide what feeling he shall have, but he is free to decide what feeling he shall place in the focus of his consciousness. Right? And again, what are we presenting to our dog? I can get the dog to do something with an hyper-focused on the cookie or a hyper-focus on the disc. But what's given? What remains after that? How does it change my consciousness? It just gives me a hyper-focus on the cookie. What I'm doing, what's happening, the situation I'm trying to generalize the behavior in, the things around the situation, none of that shit matters, just the cookie, right? And eventually we're going to get to a point where the cookie isn't all that hot shit, or where the environment is more important than the cookie, you know, and then we're going to be in a bunch of trouble. Attention is a finite resource. Each potential stimulus must be activated by the application of this limited resource, if it is to become information available to consciousness. Allocation of attention is therefore a basic adaptive issue for any organism that depends on central information processing for its survival. What to pay attention to, how intensely, and for how long are choices that will determine the content of consciousness, and therefore the experiential information available to the organism. Right? What do you think Epi's attention's on? What do you think CupCake's attention is on? King, right? I'm sitting here, nothing's happening. And the moment I move at all, they're on it. If I have to ask for this, I'm a distraction from life rather than the focus of life. My experience is what I attend to. Only those items which I notice shape my mind, right? And we want to cultivate this sense of attention so that it's offered. Attention offered, when I move, the dog is engaged. If I allow the dog to engage, they're lucky. They get to play with the object of their attention, right? If I'm always out there calling my dog, hey, Sophie, 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 you know, Fern, Fern, Meg, 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 right? If I'm always calling the dog, it's not really self-induced. It's not really offered. And what does that say about where I rank in the experience of the dog? Right. All right. He talks about dreaming, actually pretty fascinating. In dreams, consciousness isn't in control. Attention isn't happening. Consciousness is happening, but attention is struggles. It seems that every time people enjoy what they're doing or in any way transcend ordinary states of existence, they report specific changes in attentional processes. I think that's pretty fascinating. Optimal experiences, that's what Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls flow. They're made possible by an unusually intense concentration of attention on a limited stimulus field. As the three quotes above indicate, in such a state, the rest of the world is cut off, shut off, and forgotten. So this idea of attention and focus, really tough to wrap our heads around. We have this idea that I focus on something, right? I focus on it. And if you focus on it, you're completely oblivious to everything else. You can focus or you can be present. You can't do both, right? And it's true until you hit the optimum experience, until you're in flow. And then your focus is your concentration on that task alone allows you to be present within that task at a wider area of your focus, right? But you're oblivious to everything else in the world, right? And so this idea of focus and being present, it's really hard to try to be present or to try and focus, right? It's more of a happening thing. Let's see. I think this is interesting, an assertion here. If for whatever reason a person chooses to pay undivided attention to a set of stimuli, he or she will enjoy the experience. Yeah, we'll hit on that. We'll hit on that, Michelle. Dismissal, over and over again. So above this here, Mihaly was talking about people who do, like surgeons, who do kind of gross things. They wind up in flow too. So it's not just a good thing that can grab your attention and throw you into a flow state of optimum experience. It's not just pleasant things. It's things that you devote your attention to. Once you devote your attention to that thing, right, that's when that flow state is possible of happening. There's a good quote. I got it in my book somewhere. I don't know where it is on my desktop here. But something to the effect of that which with you attend, that which you attend to, shit, I'm gonna forget it. God damn it. Yep, not gonna be able to remember it. Oh well, we'll move along. Maybe I'll remember. Doesn't have to be good to flow, right? All of your attention is what's required, right? If you fall into it and enjoy doing it, you'll flow with it eventually. When situational challenges balance personal skills, a person tends to attend willingly. For instance, a chess player will concentrate on the game only when the opponent's skill matches his own. If they do not, attention will waver. Yeah, good luck with your dog in Frisbee, eh? Right? The equally matched part, when, Michelle, you're new to Frisbee, you've watched the shit on YouTube, you've watched it on Instagram, you see the trick, right? You want to do the trick. Your skills are not up to that. The end, right? If you put all of your focus there, you won't be able to flow. You will struggle to do it. And your dog, who already knows how to vault, all dogs know how to vault, by the way. They don't need to be taught. They just need to be taught how to do it with you. That dog is going to be like the chess player playing me. I'm terrible at chess. No chess player they would be on their phone the whole time. You know what I mean? It would be no struggle to whoop my ass in a game of chess. And as such, no chess player is going to engage in a game of chess with me in an honest and forthright manner. They won't dedicate their abilities to the game. And you know, when we play over our head and try to do shit that we can't do, dog training, DiscDog, whatever it is that we're doing with the dog's an expert in this, right? The dog's an expert in following the cookie. The dog's an expert in taking our markers and putting them to good use, right? If we're doing things that are above our ability level, our dog knows. And it's easy for them to check out. The answer is not to go after the vault. The answer is to go after the bite work, the positioning, the drop, the flat work form, the basic things that we're capable of doing. We do that with the dog, and we do it at a competent plus level. We learn those skills, like how to block off the baseline, right? Back to the basketball analogy. We learn the skill of that. We do it, and then everything that we do that resembles that is now trafficking in those ideas. And we get much better at position, delivering cookies, loading Frisbees, applying pressure. We realize that when I push this way, the dog goes that way. When I pull this way, the dog comes this way, right? I can tell you that, but you won't know anything about it. And if you go out and try and do something above your pay grade, above your skill level, the dog knows, dude, right? And the dog is not going to give you full attention. You'll be calling your dog all the time. If you go out there and do basic things, super basic, where is the trigger? What a fucking great game, dude. My dogs have so much fun with that dumb fucking game, man. And all I'm doing are dumb hand targets and dumb behaviors that everybody knows. They're getting kibble as cookie, you know, they're getting one piece of kibble, and they frickin' love it. And the reason that they love it is because all of my attention is in it. All of their attention is in it. And within the flow thing, the flow theory, I'm trying to hit flow, and I'm trying to oscillate between arousal and control. There are several places, I'll pull this up. There are several places where process of flow, flow 2, is that it? No. That's a good one though. It is a good one. I should probably leave that one up. Gosh darn it. I don't remember the name of the file, guys. Flow 8 rules, flow star. There we go. So here, we're using this within the philosophy of play, Play Plus, and I want to set, so from here to flow, there's a 45-degree angle. I'll show you in the book here. He's got a bunch of illustrations of it. From this corner to that corner through the flow thing here. So from here to there. That is the optimum line. We have challenge, we have skill, right? This is the optimum line. I want to keep things between here and there. These are the three that I'm concerned with, because that's pushing me up, and it allows me to go higher or lower, right? So I can achieve flow, or I can achieve flow down here with where's the trigger. I can ramp up. I go up here though, because it's going to be confusing. So I can ramp up to arousal and get some more energy, some more crazy town, some more intense rough and tumble play where we don't quite know what the fuck we're doing, but it's awesome, right? It's not anxiety. It's not worry. I want to move to this arousal, and then, or I want to be able to bring it down a little bit to control. And I do that by arousal's high challenge, moderate skills. Flow is high challenge, high skills. Control is moderate challenge, high skills. So by altering a little bit the skill level, by changing the skill level, I can hit the gas and get more energy, more desire, more fun, more etc., more crazy. Or I can ramp it down a little bit and go for more control, right? And so I want to use the flow, this idea of that optimum line. I want to use that to go higher or lower with the dog's skill set. The point of bringing that up is back to this quote. For instance, a chess player will concentrate on the game only when the opponent's skill level matches his own. If they don't, attention will waver, right? So I want to be able to go lower on my skill thing, do where is the trigger, and gamify it, make it novel enough that the challenge fits the skill and that I'm capable of doing it. And then the dog wants to play with me. And now I'm playing with the dog. And I learn how to offer that cookie. I learn how to offer the hand target. The dog learns how to take it. I learn how to move the dog between reps while I'm playing the skill, not while I'm trying to do the reps of moving the dog. Super important. We want to slide into it. All right, a little bit more here, and then I will jump in on the games for the dog, Michelle. So we're kind of getting into achievement here as well. Achievement very big for the concrescent play, for the two-part trigger process that we're working on, the mental and physical pole. Worthwhile accomplishment is based on skills and discipline, and these require extensive commitment of attention to learn and to apply. They do. They don't happen right away, right? And we want those worthwhile accomplishments. We have to put our time in on the dumb little things. You know, just because you doesn't mean it's a criteria. You know what I mean? It's not a criteria. It's not something you're gonna do. You have to do things in order to be able to vault. If you don't, your dog will know, because your dog plays chess while you play checkers when it comes to vaulting. It's an interesting fact that people can be forced to do practically anything, but their attention cannot be completely controlled by external means. Meg, come over here. Here you go. Hang on. Right? Can't be controlled like that. Can't make them do it. I can't get them to pay attention to me. They have to offer that. I can't get them to do so. Voluntary focus of attention on a limited stimulus field is necessary to achieve socially valued goals. I find that pretty interesting. We're getting almost down to the end here. Watch out. Yep. The lowest concentration, as well as the least enjoyment, was reported while they were watching television. Television, sports, arts, work were the things. And the lowest concentration was TV. Lowest concentration, least enjoyment, most time. Interesting. Thinking about what you're doing versus something else, you feel more creative, free, active, alert, and satisfied. It's kind of a no-brainer. A bunch of the flow stuff is complete no-brainers. Let me see, do I want to go through the pathology stuff? There isn't a lot of stuff in here. Let's see. So he talks about the binding and structuring effect of attention is what needs to be studied in human groups, but in human social systems, the phenomena is much more complex. It's not enough to determine who pays attention to whom, uncover the underlying attentional structure that allows the system to exist. Human systems differ from other social structures in that they are largely based on attention that is objectified and stored in a symbolic form. That would be the cookie, guys. Attention is stored in the symbolic form of the cookie. Perhaps the most effective of these symbols is money. A wage earner exchanges psychic energy for money by investing his attention in goals determined for him by someone else. The money thus earned can then be exchanged again for objects and services that are the result of someone else's investment of psychic energy. In contemporary societies, control over money directly translates into control over other people's attention. Control over the cookie, control over attention, right? Duh. What do you think I'm doing here? The thing is, money has value after the fact, right? Money is worth nothing on its own. It's worth in trade later. The paradox of the cookie that the moment I eat it, it's gone and I need more and I need more, really puts the screws to that idea that I have this cookie to control the dog's attention. That's a losing battle, guys. It's a completely lost battle. If there's no achievement in there, if there's no like, wow, I did the thing, that's amazing. If there's no achievement, no play, the cookies are,
you will always be getting extorted for cookies. So attention is required for a person to control what content shall be admitted into consciousness. The sum of all contents admitted into consciousness determine the quality of a person's life experience. A person who feels able to direct his or her attention freely enjoys the experience and develops a positive self-concept. A person who feels able to direct his or her attention freely enjoys the experience. If I have to tug on my dog's collar all the time, come on, Epi, come on, Epi, 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 come over here, Epi, do this, do that, Epi, 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 don't do that. Oh, here, I got some cookies for you, Epi. It's not going to be a good experience. And Epi likes it, though. You like it, don't you? That's because you are freely offering it. You are freely offering it. Yeah, you have to become the cookie. Yep, you have to become the cookie, and the cookies have to be able to go away, right? If the money never went away, it would cease to be motivating, right? If I never had to spend it for anything, it would cease to be motivating. It's useless in and of itself. The cookie is useless in and of itself to the dog, right? It's only good because it goes away. Okay. They want the next one. It's not the cookie they want, it's the next one. So the main issues of a holistic behavioral science revolve around the question of how and where attention is allocated and who is in control of this process. Guys, it's important. Right? Dogs need to be offering that. We need to be capturing it. We need to be shaping attention. Telling your dog to look at you is not helpful. It's not helpful. And we want to build attention. We want to build drive for attention. We want attention to lead to the things that we want to do, right? So building attention, I dismiss the dog, right? I am a limited access resource, right? You are lucky to interact with me. And when that's the case, I have value, right? I move it all. There it is. CupCake was grooming her king. She was busy. But if I move at all or do something, my dogs attend to me because I am an opportunity. Okay? So the first thing that has to happen with handlers and attention is that the handler has to be an opportunity. And simply
Sidewalks for regular
whoa.
walking, not for fancy walking.
Byron, $6. Great stuff.
Woo, Byron. Thank you, sir. Always tip your dog trainer. Appreciate that. It was behind the hero thing. Maybe I should move that. Let me move it and then I'll pull the hero thing. Move it up there. So, attention, we have to be an opportunity for the dog. If we're not an opportunity for the dog, we're in trouble, right? The dog won't want to give us opportunity. For me and for what I have philosophically and ideologically, I dismiss the dog. When I dismiss the dog, that gives me the opportunity to shape and capture attention. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate that real quick. Don't let me forget to Shabanya. I think we'll switch those. Oh, so annoying. So annoying. All right. So, there we go. That is out of the way now. Perfect. Oh, it's probably not, though. Put it up there. Chill. So with CupCake, right? Oh, wow, what was that? There's a cricket down there. So cricket. Yes. Through. Take the eye contact. Yes. Through. Yes. Chill, Epi. Chill. Right? Eye contact. Yes. Twist. Yes. Eye contact. Yes. Spin. Yes. Awesome. Go do dog stuff. So I engage her and then I dismiss her, right? She doesn't have to leave. I'm off limits though. And you can see that she's attending to her own things. She's doing some things that she thinks going to work, right? But the thing that's going to work is attention. So I just offered it to her and it didn't work. I'm going to offer it several times and that's variable reinforcement, right? No cookie or no mark, no mark. Yes, good girl, right? So that dismissal allows me to, stand. Yes. Yes, wow, off. Whoa, she's awesome. Great job. Go do dog stuff. That dismissal allows me to now shape and capture engagement and attention. So she's going to cruise around and she's going to do her own thing. She's going to try to get my attention, right? And she's looking for a spot. If that channel were open, she would have walked into the channel, right? Here, I'll show you. She's going to do all of the things that have earned my attention in the past, right? And she's pretty new, right? So she's trying things. Each of these, by the way, is a safe to fail probe from the Cynefin framework, right? She's going to get on that. She's going to get in there, right? I'll look at her and she'll jump on the thing. Oh, what is the thing? What is it that's going to get me interaction with him, right? She jumps in there. Is it this? Is it that? And she's still pretty new. I've worked her in here for the most part, and I have some dog issues with Epi. Epi will eat her, and I don't want that to happen. So she is a little more aggressive with her work than the other dogs. You can see her shifting around, right? She doesn't quite have the idea that it is the soft work. And that's just because she's young and I haven't done a particularly good job of shaping this soft work, right? So you can see her every time she freezes and looks at me, she's going to DOWN there and probably do a stretch. Epi, lie down. Well, maybe not. But she will escalate. And she'll do this hard work, that head turn, really sharp turn. She's going to go over there. She's going to check there. Each of these is hard work. Every one of these actions has been in order to get me to do something with her, right? I would expect a stretch here. You know, she's going to step in, look at me. Was that it? How about this? I'm a little afraid of Epi. How about this? That? I'll do both at the same time. What do you want? This hard work. I don't want this hard work, right? What I want is something soft, like yes, like that right there. CupCake, right? Did you see she looked at the tire that's on the ground? That's a tire in front of that, by the way. It's a little tiny tire. And she happened to look over, and it was that soft look that I captured. She just so happened to be standing in the channel, right? But hopefully you can see that she's working the shit out of me right now to get me to work with her. So this dismissal and soft work. If you could see King right now, he's over on the couch and he's doing soft work to get my attention. Epi's too close to the thing that he wants, right, which is interaction with me. He's too close to be softly or comfortably dismissed, right? So nice CupCake. That's great. You got a butt problem. I see. So I use this dismissal, go to dog stuff, and now I'm off limits, and then I shape and capture soft work. Yes, good girl. I don't know if you could see that, but she just softly looked in, right? And my goal is, awesome, go to dog stuff, is to capture that soft work and to shape and capture the hard work I want initially, right? To shape and capture that hard work I want initially, the pedestal, the channel, the ball, the raised spot, her lying down, all of these behaviors that she knows how to do and offers. And then I want to capture. It's really hard in this situation too. The lights are on, everybody knows we're working, I'm talking, and there's a whole context here. If I were just hanging out, I would have dismissed her and she would have walked over and lied down somewhere, right? And then she would have lied down hard to get me to do something, and she'd have realized it didn't work, and she'd be tired, and she'd be laying there, and then she'd look at me like this, and I'd say yes and give her a cookie, and that would be the soft work that got the attention going. So that attention comes through dismissal. It allows me to work. It allows me to work on engagement and to shape different engagement behaviors and engagement intents from her, right? So I can shape this real sharp one that she's offering over and over. You can hear her little pitter-patter feet probably. Or I can shape, yes, that soft one right there, which she offered almost as a question, right? Hey, come on. Awesome, go do dog stuff. And so that's the main game that I use, right? And again, in this situation, it's going to be pretty hot shit. Like a lady, CupCake, like a lady. She got some butt problems, huh? I see. Happens to the best of us. It does. So, dismissal, I call it, there's a doc protocol we use for reactive dogs and for engagement in general. And it's this guy here, yes, good man, King, wow. So that was soft work. He rolled up, he gave me some easy attention. Yes, good man, I see you, Epi, you can chill. He gave me some easy attention, I marked and captured that, right? That easy attention, go do dog stuff, King. So he'll stay here for a moment, and then he'll walk off, and he'll loosely attend to me, right? You can see him loosely attending to me. And I want to capture, yes, that's ambient attention, right? His attention was, yes, a good man. Simply something that was happening. Hey, dude, I'm kind of looking at you. Okay, awesome. Go do dog stuff, King. I want to capture ambient attention. That's that soft work. 3 types of attention, Michelle. We have ambient, situational, and formal, right? The formal attention, Yes. Good. Yes. Good man. Right? So I split here. Yes, look at him. And Epi is like, I know that drill. So that's formal attention. Whoa, dude. Come on. The ambient attention was the situation the king just gave me. Right? Situational attention would be like at the door or at the beginning of work. I set up a situation to work, right? Or I'm in the, dude, I am in the channel over here. Dude, that's situational attention. So with those three types of attention, we can, if we recognize them, we can shape them, we can make them happen situationally, which is super important. Anytime I get ready to work, my dogs give me eye contact. That's the situational attention. Anytime I get to a door and nothing happens, my dogs give me eye contact. That's situational. Super nice for me. The dogs offer their attention to me in those situations. Pretty likely to get flow and good interaction, right? And you know, when we talk about flow, I don't think everything flows. I don't think it's possible to have everything flow. The concept of Wu Wei from Buddhism or Taoism is to act without action, action in action. And it's this kind of comes across as a do-nothing principle. And it's not. It's everywhere I go, I act appropriately. Right? And when the dogs and handlers have the situational attention laid out, right? It becomes like a Wu Wei situation. We walk to the door, the dog automatically gives me eye contact. I open the door, her eye contact opened the door. It's like she's perfect, right? And then our interaction becomes very smooth there. And I think that leads to flow. Right? I think that leads to that autotelic experience where I'm just given attention because that's what we do at the door, right? So I'm going to allow her to stay there for a few, her while she's there, and now her lying down would be the finish point of her dismissal, right? So I'll come out here, I'll try this, I'll try that. Are you sure? No? Okay, I'll go lay down and I'll loosely attend to you. And again, if Epi were a little further away, he wouldn't be so on me. He'd be a little bit more like King there. But you'll find that like even when my dogs are lying down, they're giving attention. You know what I mean? They know that's where the shit is happening. So we have ambient attention. We have situational attention at the doors. We have that formal attention. And the formal attention is not the dog offering it. It is not the dog willingly engaging in the opportunity, right? I'm essentially giving him a cue. Yes, it says, hey, dipshit, do the attention thing, right? And if I have to tell you that, it's probably not going to lead to flow, and it's probably going to give me some shit with engagement, right? Particularly when the situation gets too crazy, right? When the situation gets too crazy or I get a little boring, the challenge gets too high, it's really easy to check out there. So, all right, attention and flow. Not a bad little session. A whole bunch of talky talk, but not a bad session, I think, for us to work on. So let me see. You guys have any other questions? Anybody have any questions or things they want to talk about? Yep. So I'm going to do CupCake. Yes. Wow. She's so amazing. Look at her. I'm going to do her stand thing. CupCake, yes. Stand. Oh, you were on it. Off, yes. And I'm just going to load this epi, stop. I'm going to load this with lots of cookies on the off. Stand. Off, yes. I'll do one more. Stand. Oh, what happened? Off. Good, good. That was great. So she got down, and I didn't really care. I don't want to raise her up and ask her up a bunch of times. Stand. I want her off. Yes. I want her to nail that on her own. So I'm going to go ahead and offer, I'm going to do the stand. I'm going to get several cookies up there. And normally this is an add value situation where I'm adding value to the skill while they're up there. But in this context, I'm going to be doing the multiple and the juggle. So I want her to deal with multiple cookies up there, right? 'Cause she's going to get multiple cookies with the, come here, stand. Yes. Uh-oh. Yes. Touch. Touch. Yes. Good. Touch. Yes. Good. Off. Yes. Very nice. Stand. I'll put one over here, right? Off. Good work. Great job. Go do dog stuff. And there we go. That's my work today for the standing multiple. We'll do it next week. It'll be a done deal next week. She is a savage. All right. So doorbell equals spot. Guest entry equals spot. Right? Spot. King, go do dog stuff. CupCake. Spot. She doesn't even know. Dude. CupCake. Yes. Good girl. Right? Off. King, get off. You're ruining it. Yes. Right? Off. Yes. Good. I see you, Epi. You are super smart, Epi. You're the smartest, Epi. Right? So I could pair the door knock with the spot behavior. I would do that, Sagepaw. When your guests come in, the dog's on a spot. And that should get the initial hubbub done. I mean, there are so many ways. There are so many ways to address that, Sagepaw. Okay, teach a spot on the door. Teach a spot when people come in. Get some people who can be jumped on. Mark and reinforce the dog for getting off of them. Work that with those people until the dog goes, I'm going to jump. No, I'm not going to jump on them. Pay the fuck out of that. Pay the fuck out of that decision to not jump up, right? That's the really critical one. Teach the dogs on somebody who can be jumped on, and then get it to a point where the dog starts to go up and decides not to. At which point in time you might be able to trust it with people who can't be jumped on, right? And I would do doorbell or door opening or knock on the door or whatever equals spot, right? And when that happens, then we've got 90% of the hubbub, the really crazy novel situation taken care of. And then the dog walks over to them after the situation is not so volatile and starts to go up and decides to come down. You pay them. They come back to you and pay them. They get to do that several times, and then they're off the gas. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, he just mimicked that, Antonis. He just mimicked that. I was pretty impressed with that. That's we had a dog, Harper. He's the faux frisbee dog, the greatest frisbee dog that never played, man. Fucking unbelievable dog. Wish I had him now. Actually, he would have played frisbee. He taught me a bunch of the stuff that I know about dealing with dogs who don't do the thing. But that was totally mimicry. Epi, go do dog stuff. Don't. Is there somebody out there? Yeah. So Harper, whenever we would do like spot with multiple dogs or anything, right? Whenever we would do that, he'd watch like 3 reps and he'd like run in the room and he'd look at you and he'd run over and do the skill. And most of the time he didn't even take his cookie. He'd run over and do the skill and be like, all right, fuck it, I'm out of here. It really reminded me of Harper. I got like all nostalgic chills, man. Yeah, it was super cool. Super, super cool. So, Michelle, my off means that's a cessation of duration. I won't say it in context. All pow means we're done working. Dismissal means I'm off limits. CupCake, off, means off. Yes, means stop doing the duration behavior or get off the thing. It actually does double duty. And then all pow means we're done working. That's Hawaiian for done with work. So I have 3 releases, and it's super important that dismissal is not we're done working. When I tell the dogs all pow, they're done. They don't try and work me anymore. And that is an important thing. A lot of people, I think, freak out about my dismissal setup because the dogs continue working me. That's what they're supposed to do. They're just supposed to work me in. That's a little hard. I don't mind it because it looks cool. You know what I mean? It's like, you know how your fucking dog really likes to work? Yeah, you're very loyal, Epi. Your loyalty is admirable. You're like Lord Vaco, right? So I like the loyalty. I don't like the hard work. It wears thin on me. It's gross. I like a softer, like one eye on me type of engagement, right? But yeah, with dismissal, the dog should loosely attend to the handler. With all pow, we're done working, the dog should leave me the fuck alone, right? And the release of off is stop doing the duration behavior. Double dog name, Epi, might have to say it, Epic, yes, is a release as well. And that's super handy for multiple dog multiple dog homes. Took a long time to get that double dog name too, by the way. I've been working on that like 10 years. I finally got it with a handful of the dogs here. And I'm super stoked about it. First name is attention. So when I say the dog's name, the first time they look at me, second time they come to me. I believe that is, I think it's Susan Clothier who put that together. Might be Susan Garrett. But since I heard about it like 10 years ago, I've been trying to make it happen. It's just really hard to do with 20 dogs, you know what I mean? Let's see. Does skill no take in cookie? I don't get that. Yeah, that'll do, pig. That'll do, pig. That's what that means. Yep, shop is closed. Yep. Open bar, closed bar. All right. Yep. Yeah, so Michelle, if you want to put dismissal on your dog, the best time to do it when you're cooking, when you're on your computer, when you're watching TV. Dismiss the dog because you're literally busy. And the dog will literally not get to interact with you, right? And then while you're cooking, you can look over, and if you notice that the dog is lying on their spot or standing under the table doing something and they happen to look over at you like, hey, what's up, lady? You just grab something right off the table. Hook them up with a cookie. You know what I mean? Or you're cooking and they're under the table, they look at you softly after being they don't have to leave. They have to disengage, right? So I dismiss on lead. I dismiss when I'm parked. You guys saw that parking thing, right? I dismiss when I'm parked. They can't move. They can only sit. Just means I'm off limits. So I dismiss the dog while I'm cooking. Dog is on me for a few minutes, right? And then checks out and goes away. I'm cooking. I don't care. You know, I happen to look over. Dog's under the table. I'm watching. Dog looks my way, gives me eye contact. Yes, I throw him a piece of food. Right? And I'm like, what? And they come over and they get super excited and they want to, I want to do something. And you tell them, go do dog stuff. And they'll check out and they'll wind up with this soft work. So you'll notice that CupCake's work has softened up. She's no longer running from this to that to make me do things. She's now kind of exploring and doing the things that she does, and she'll look at me every once in a while, right? So I want to capture, yes, that one right there, right? That was a nice piece of ambient eye contact. She was laying there, she just so happened to look at me, boom, that worked. That surprise, that's getting one for free, right? So you can work it while you're cooking, while you're on TV, while you're on the computer. And you can work it the same. Just wait for that true disengagement and capture something there. After that starts to happen, your dog will leave and run over here and go, is that it? Jump on here. Jump on here. Over here. Yes. Right? That ambient thing after all that stuff. And then you just have to worry about the accidental CupCake thing. Unintentional back chains can happen. But if you do the while thing, if you wait and don't mark that exact moment, or you're thoughtful about it, we can talk about the unintentional CupCake thing or the accidental CupCake thing some other time. But yeah, you should probably start building that. You'll wind up in class. Yep, Slacker training stuff. You'll wind up in class, and it'll be of benefit. Super important when it comes to dry V work. If you don't have dismissal, you don't have engagement. The end. If you tell me you have engagement on your dog, yeah, do you control engagement? Yeah, of course I control engagement. Dismiss the dog. And if the dog can't turn off, you don't have control over engagement. And that not having control over engagement is a very big problem. It doesn't really matter because the dog is usually going to work with us, right? So nobody really cares, but the work is shitty. And the work might be amazing, but it could be so much more amazing if the dog could disengage, right? So you're getting a half-open Christmas present on your engagement if you don't have disengagement. Engagement starts with dismissal. That is the off switch. If you can't turn the thing off, you don't have control over the thing. The end. All right. So looks like we're doing good. Do you guys have any other questions? You know, we hit on flow and attention, and this idea of attention being required for flow, and that attention is the dude, zip. Attention is the limited access or the limited bandwidth, right? I didn't talk, and I wanted to talk about the dogs on the field having some issues. What is up? About the dogs having attention issues on the field, but it took me too long to go through the document, so we'll have to pick that up some other time. But yeah, attention, super important, and super important that it's offered, right? And the optimum experience thing, yeah, something's outside, some multi-dimensional being, right? I hope it's not a chupacabra. But flow and the optimum experiences seem to be entirely based upon available attention, offered attention, self-induced, right? Which is the same requirements of play. You know, it has to be offered, has to be self-induced. You have to have the available mental bandwidth with to play it. Yep, dismissal, super cool. Thinking of adding Monday night to classes. Can you make Monday nights, Michelle? Byron has a Monday night, good time Monday night. And I was thinking about adding another night. So Monday might be a good night for you. Maybe. So we have merch. Oh, I'm not wearing my shoes. John got some shoes. They're pretty awesome. Byron's got a pair of kicks coming in the mail. I'm probably getting ready to do some different colors as well. I'm pretty excited about that. I would like to have like a different color for each pair of the week, each day of the week. That would be super cool. Let's see. Whoa, the CupCake. Epi, you're so smart. How did you get so smart, buddy? Like, he doesn't even do a spot. Super funny. You get into loot levels of intelligence. It's scary. All right. Okay. The classes during the week, Yeah, they're 1 p.m. So, do stuff in, the classes are replayed. And, you know, I have to say they're probably pretty boring if you're replaying them. Wednesday's usually pretty good. We talk about a bunch of weird shit. A bunch of how and like the kind of stuff I talk about here on the stream, but I'm not trying to, I'm talking kind of directly to you, and it gets even weirder, actually, I think, much weirder. But classes are, they're recorded and available on the group with which class they're affiliated with. Something like that. Right. So what else we got, guys? You guys got anything? Should probably do a form or three. So we were talking about the need to chill, lie down, chill. The need to CupCake, up, up. Yes. Whoa! Did you see that vault up there? A little rebound move. Dude, excuse me. That was a stall cue. Hold your shit together, or get put in a crate. It's time to do your job, CupCake. I'm gonna not do my form here the first couple times so I can pay her. So this is the squared stance shifting form. And what I'm working on here is to move and load right away and to pay my dog. Right? And that is a move that, that you will do in Frisbee as soon as you start sequencing. So what happens here, I throw the flip to my dog, they flip and they land in this fashion. So I throw the flip and I block and I pose here and I beat them to the landing. And when I'm posed here, they're locked in. After I'm posed, I'll then switch to prepare myself for the next move. So I'll go low, high, boom, I'll load, and I've locked in the dog. And then I'll switch while the dog is locked in. Low, high, boom, pow, switch, pay the dog, boom, pow, switch, boom, pow, switch, boom, pow. Awesome. So that is the squared stance shifting form. Believe that is in the green belt in Discwando, Michelle. Within Discwando, the forms, they're super simple. They're not, they are a progression, but you should not be avoiding the progressions above where you're at. You should be focused in training where you're at, but you should feel free to do and play around with and experiment with the forms above where you're at, just like you would if you were in a karate class and you were sparring. You might do some things that are not at your level, right? You've seen them, you've watched other people do them, you try them, right? Probably get your ass handed to them if you try them with somebody who's better than you because you're not quite ready for that or you're not doing it properly. But I don't think there's any reason that you shouldn't be looking ahead and trying some of the things above your pay grade. I find that to be really beneficial. Yep. Yeah, I missed class. I was like 40 minutes late. Farm stuff. April's in Texas. I have 9 dogs inside, and the garden and the chickens are. April's got a lot of work on the gardens and the chickens, or the garden and the chickens. Let me tell you. All right. So I did a form. I went through flow and attention. Attention, super key aspect of flow, guys. And it's offered by the dog. It's offered by the dog. It's not, if I have to tell you to wait, we're probably going to have trouble. If I have to call you before we go, we're probably going to have trouble. It's the king thing. If I have to deal with King's mauling, I'm going to have trouble, right? I can get by playing him and running him like I do with keeping him from mauling, but I can't. I wind up a slave to servicing that problem, and it's gross. I don't like it, so I have to figure out how to fix it. I've gotten it to the point where I can work with it, and I should be satisfied and work with him, but it's so gross. It really makes me kind of angry, you know, at myself, at him, at the situation, at what could be like a whole fucking host of emotional bullshit. But it winds up pretty rough to try and do new things with him, and I'm pretty much only about doing new things. I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. Probably not a very good fit for King in that regard. He likes to do the same thing over and over again. He's pretty good about that. So, actually, let's do King. Good man. What you got going on? All right, CupCake. CupCake, yes. Epi, over here. Yep. Lie down. Down, chill. CupCake. Come on up. Yes, chill. King. King. Up. Yes, good man. So I'm gonna keep paying CupCake here as well. House. Yes. Whoa, dude. Excuse me. A pup? Yes. Good man. House. Yes. So all that matters is that his teeth come off. House. Yes. I don't care what he does afterward. House. Yes. Yes. Take the eye contact. Yes. House. Yes. House. Yes. Dude. So I'm a pup. Not sure how this is going. Would like him to attend the cookie, but the mauling is, when he is mauling the discs, it hurts me emotionally. Like, he is so stressed and manic that it's like painful to watch. You know what I mean? And I'm not getting that sense when he's trying to do this maul, so I'm gonna kind of go with it. Mine. Yes, good man. And I'm gonna switch to this give instead. Mine. Come on, King. Mine. Yes. Good. Wow, that guy. Ready? Mine. Yes. Awesome. Wow. Who is that guy? Ready? Mine? Yes. Very nice. Very nice. House. Yeah. House. Dude. Yes. Go do dog stuff. And I'm done with that. All right. Add another one to the list. I think the medium value toy is the one that I want. Oh, fuck. CupCake. Epi. Good man. The medium value toy is the one that I want, and I'm not able to get it. Yeah, right? King Mauler. All right, so cool. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take off. 2.5 hours, good stream. Hope you guys dug it. Attention, right? And recognize that attention is a key to enjoyment and to optimum connection with your dog, right? We need that attention to be flowing towards us so that we can capitalize on that attention, right? Just getting attention is not going to give us the type of connection that we want. So, patrons, thanks a bunch. Michelle's a new patron. Super cool. Hang on, actually, thinking about this. Let me see if I can do this. Streamlabs. But not at all. Super stoked that you guys are supporting the show. Michelle, super nice to have you here. And hang on one sec, and we will make sure that we get this. So when you become a member, when you become a patron while we're on the show, you get all widgets. Where is it? App Store. Settings. Is it? Tipping, is it there? History, no. Oh, come on, Ron. Multi-stream themes and overlays. Merch store. There it is. Is that it? There's tips. Grrr. I gotta find out where that is. Yeah, you'll definitely have to do it while the show is going. Oh, there it is. Is that it? No, it's not it. Recent events. Yes. Boom.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless. shapeless, like water.
Hang on. I don't know why that got shrunk. We'll do it one more time. Ready?
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
There we go. Super cool. Thanks a bunch, Michelle. Pretty excited. Pretty excited. Alicia, thank you. Got a donation from Alicia. That was super awesome. So, not off right off the bat. I have quite a few though. I mean, I know 7 right off the bat. So, and I don't know how many are still here or what, but let's see. Yep. So I need to make sure that I pull this up. What is this? This is recent events. I need a stream tab. All right, guys. Get merch. Tip your dog trainer. Hook up with the son. Patreon.
There is no try.
Don't talk over Yoda. He does not like it. I'm gonna play us out with Badass Meme Roll. Yeah, right. Badass Meme Roll number 18. We'll see you guys soon. Maybe Sunday. I might take a few days off this week. We'll see you guys soon.
Slow down. Sidewalks for regular walking, not for fancy walking.
Elysia Beach $18. Streams are so worth a tip.
Woo! See you, Antonis. Hope your session was good the other day. Didn't hear from G about that. Good night. You're supposed to say thank you, bye-bye. Hang on, I can do that better. Thank you, bye-bye. Little Lou Mac for you from back in the day. Good work, CupCake. Epi, how did you read my mind, Epi? You just read my mind. See you guys. Have a good one.